Welcome back to Golden Rule Radio, your weekly recap of the precious metals markets and the news that moves the markets. And in this very special week, we're going to have a very special show as everybody's getting ready for the holiday season. We did just want to bring you a very quick price update, and hot on the heels of a COVID relief plan recently signed where there were more pages than dollars spent, and that's a lot, upwards of $900 billion signed into law here this week. Let's see if we had any market movements in response to that. And we'll start out looking at gold. As you can see here, gold did come up, did put in some highs earlier this week on Monday at just at 1900, but we seem to be trailing back down along this inside trading channel. Now, it wouldn't surprise me to see gold take possibly a third step up in a three drives pattern to the top end of that channel and then see where gold goes from there early next year. If we get a breakout, which wouldn't be surprising since we do happen to see a lot of breakouts take place in the first quarter of the year after we see our November, December lows like what we saw back on November 30th. It wouldn't surprise me to see a little breakout there, and then we'd probably be pushing up against those previous highs at 2075, which we put in back on August 7th. So keep an eye out. Even though it is the holiday season, I would expect to see some continued volatility in the gold price, but for the next week, my gut says probably inching down a little bit before we take that third step up. So looking at the silver price, we actually established a downwards trend line, or possibly did. I'd like to see a third touch here at some point down the road. But looking at our all-time high back again on August 7th, another top on September 1st, and now again December 21st, just like gold did, we had a spike up followed by a reversal back down. So similar to gold, I would expect to see silver trail off here a little bit, maybe down to the $23.50 to $24 range, and then turn around and come up from there. And early next year, test that declining trend line again to see if we can get some momentum upwards, which is very likely with the new president coming in and this new COVID relief plan. So again, just like gold, keep an eye on silver. I would expect to see, if anybody's looking to make any moves before December 31st, there is a chance we might get a slightly lower price in the next week. So moving over to the industrial precious metal platinum. Platinum showing a slightly different story throughout the year that we've been talking about, putting in a high back in May, another high in August. And then here on December 4th, platinum actually put in the highest price since 2016. So one story we've been telling all year is that gold started the charge, silver was hot on its heels, and we were still waiting for platinum to play catch up, and certainly throughout this year it has. In the last couple weeks, platinum did kind of the opposite of what gold and silver did. On December 21st, while gold and silver were putting in short-term highs, platinum actually put in a pretty substantial short-term low, dropping all the way down to about 925 and then bouncing back up. So I'm going to guess that this pattern is going to continue itself. While I think over the next week or two, we're going to see gold and silver continue to inch down. In this case, I think platinum may be testing that high back from December 4th, maybe up to 1,050, and then see where we turn around from there at the beginning of the year. So platinum also, while it is making moves, don't forget the ratios, and platinum is still a good option to add to your precious metals portfolio, a small position, 10-15% of a metals portfolio in platinum, until we see some broader numbers adjust and the gold and platinum prices come closer to each other and eventually change places. Platinum does average a higher price than gold, and that is long-term what we're looking for. So make sure you touch base with your precious metals advisor over at McAlvany ICA to help you balance your portfolio to take advantage of some of these price discrepancies that help increase your ounces over time. And as we mentioned earlier, with the new COVID relief fund and a whole lot of new money coming into the system, you would assume maybe some of that works its way onto Wall Street, as those things tend to do. But the Dow isn't showing any sign of that. The Dow has continued since about the beginning to middle of November, compressing upwards above the previous all-time high put in back on February 12th. So this compression is going to continue until we get a breakout. Generally, when you see compression in a direction, in this case you've got compression up, my expectation is we see a price decline at some point here in January or February, which would coincide once again with some of the political events taking place, like the changeover to a new president, as well as the expectation that we're going to see gold and silver start their next bull runs early next year. So it wouldn't be surprising to see the Dow turn around and come down, and there's a lot of indicators pointing to that on a grander scheme as well. For the time being, Dow sitting currently just over 30,000, and will probably sit here throughout the end of the year. And finally, closing out the year, the US dollar continues its slide down, going back to the high point at the beginning of the COVID, 102.95. Dropping all the way down to 89.7. It's been a rough year for the dollar, but expected given the amount of additional funds pumped into the system in order to try to keep things afloat. So the dollar hovering just above 90. I don't see any reason for it to turn around here at this point. So I would expect things to stay relatively stable through the end of the year. Surprised a little bit this week that we didn't see any additional dollar drop on the COVID package, but it's been something they've been working on for a number of months. So it's not unlikely that some of that has been priced in over the last couple months, the expectation of that coming to bear. With the dollar sitting at around 90, down over 10% this year, gold, silver, and platinum all having pretty phenomenal years in 2020 as expected, and the Dow as well, pushing to all-time highs twice this year, both before COVID and here at the end of the year. So that is going to do it this holiday week for Golden Rule Radio. We appreciate you stopping by and hope you have a wonderful holiday season with your family if you have the opportunity to do so. We will be doing another truncated show next week in anticipation of the start of the new year. So definitely stop by next week to get those end-of-year pricing updates. As always, if you liked what you heard, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, head on over to our website at McAlvany.com. You can find additional information on Twitter at ICA Gold or Facebook at McAlvany Financial. Or if you'd like to discuss your personal precious metals portfolio with one of the advisors at McAlvany ICA, you can give us a call at 1-800-525-9556. Thanks again for listening. Have a great holiday.